Hello and welcome to What Sold video. Again, as I mentioned in a previous video, I'm changing the format, so we are doing these weekly, so that way you guys see these literally every week. Hi, Miss Moxie. So you're gonna get 7 days of sales on all of my not live selling platforms, so excluding Whatnot. And I'm gonna share with you everything that sold the week from Sunday to Saturday. So this week is going to be December 22nd to December 28th because that was the previous week. And we're actually starting with Etsy because December is the month where I make a ton of Etsy sales normally. And I love Etsy. Etsy is my set it and forget it platform. I cross post everything onto Etsy using Vendoo and it's great. So I really, really like that. Especially since most of the items that I sell on Etsy I've had for a long time. They're normally vintage pieces because that's what I sell on Etsy, and vintage is long tail. So this is a vintage 90s piece. The brand is Saturdays, and it had like this X with like a Southwestern pattern on it. I thought it was a really cool sweater. It was a size large for men's. If it was a size like small or medium, probably would have kept it because I do love my oversized vintage men's sweaters. But because it was actually too oversized for me, I did let it go and it sold for $38. Now on my Etsy store, anything over $35 is free shipping. I just included in the price. I paid $5 for this like 3 years ago. Yes, 3 years ago, because I picked this up at the end of 2021 and I didn't get around to listing it until I think 2022. So we're working on that this year. But yeah, so I made like $25 off the sale. Very happy with it. I'm gonna scoot over here and we're gonna do the eBay sales. Of course, this is Miss Moxie. So you're gonna see this item twice, and that's because it sold twice in the same week. I don't know why I decided to start selling. I picked up 7 of these teacups and saucers. I just thought they were beautiful. And because I picked up an odd number of them, I just decided to sell them individually with a quantity listing. So if they bought more of them, they would get a discount, hoping to encourage people to buy more than one. That hasn't happened so far. Somebody accepted an offer. I sent out like a 20% off offer for this and it sold for $7.90, which I'm perfectly fine with. I paid, I believe, $6 for all 7 of them. Like that includes the saucers too. So I have very little into this and I just thought they were really pretty. This is something I paid a quarter for at an estate sale, so I have almost nothing into it. It was like in a big bundle of a whole bunch of other stuff, because that's normally how I do estate sales, is I make a big pile and then they give me a price. And that's normally how I make really good deals the last day on estate sales. So sold for $4. I had this for a while. Oh well. Pair of Levi's 505s. I've talked about whenever I go to the bins, I will pick up Levi's 505s, especially women's, which this was because they don't really make 505s anymore for women, or they're not currently making 505s for women, and there are a lot of people who really like this one. Sold for $10. I picked this up at the bins. I paid like probably $2 for it. So I also picked this up at the bins. I paid 50 cents for this book. This was part of Daniel Abau's library that was donated, I guess, after his estate closed out. I don't know. His family donated all of his books. I've been selling them slowly but surely. He was the leading expert in British maritime history. I have made so much money off of those books, so I'm very grateful. This sold for $20 with free shipping. These Winston Churchill books from the 50s on World War II, I will pick them up whenever I find them. I found this at the big book buyout that I just did, the warehouse buy that I did. I'm already into the profit for this, so this is at this point pure profit. Love that for me. Sold for $7.90. This is Wheel of Fortune by Roger Zelazny. It is a science fiction book. I actually originally offered this on Whatnot. It didn't sell on Whatnot for $2, so I sold it for $8 on eBay. I will do that all day long. It was brand new. And I am trying now, so this last year I've been increasing the number of books I have, so about 1/3 of my listings now are books. And I initially started doing it with the buy 3, get 1 free and have it be free shipping. So now what I'm going to try to do is do calculated shipping because I'm going to add even more books to my store this year. So I'm slowly converting it to calculated shipping to see if that will entice people to take more of the buy 3, get 1 free. I want to add more books. I would like for it to maybe be 50-50 for me. We'll see how it goes this year. This is that second instance of the Sakura teacup and saucer. And this sold for the full asking price of $9.87. Again, happy that I moved it. I've made like, $6 or $7 off of this set, and this didn't end up in the landfill. This is Welcome to the Ballroom, Volume 8. I actually bought this at the bin, so I have 25 cents into this manga. It sold for $7.62. Now this was free shipping, so I made like $2 off of this. Perfectly happy with that. Again, if that's not for you and your business model, don't do it. I like buying and saving books. I like buying and collecting books. I like buying and selling books. I love reading books. I love reviewing books. I love books. So that is why I do this. It makes me very happy to save stuff from the landfill or for getting recycled. So you do you. When I'm at the bins, I will also look and pick out cross-stitch patterns or needlepoint patterns, crewel patterns, knitting patterns, quilting patterns. That kind of stuff sells. This is Scarlet Quince, which is an individual who does fine art cross-stitch patterns. They create fine art cross-stitch patterns. This is Rose in a Tall Glass Vase, sold for $5.84 because I sent out an offer, I think of like 10-15% or something. And they bought it, and then they paid for shipping for this. The next one is another set of books. This is another one that I sent out like a 10% off offer, and they accepted it. This is also from the big book buyout as well. All three of the first three books in the Drizzt series for the Forgotten Realms, the Dark Elf series, D&D, whatever you want to call it. All of them were at this book buyout. So I made roughly like $15 off of this sale, off of these three books. And again, honestly, I made a little bit more than that because I'm already in the profit. So like $18, whatever. I love books. Yay, I sold more books. This is Joanne Fluke, another book that I picked up at the bins. I have 50 cents in this book, and I picked this up. This is not normally an author that I would pick up at all, even hardcovers, but this one was signed. So, and whenever I see that autographed or signed sticker on the front, I will go ahead and pick up the book at the bins because it's cheap, and I know that it's gonna sell because that little signature makes it worth picking up for me. So that's why I do that. This is an Eileen Fisher piece. I'm pretty sure I picked this up either at the bins or at a regular store. So either I paid $1 for this or I paid $5 for this. Either way, it sold for $25 and then the buyer paid for shipping. This was an alpaca blend, but it was a low level of alpaca. I'm still gonna put that on the keyword in the title. And then of course you see Karen here working it and making it sell. So happy with this. Another book from the big book buyout. I've talked about how I buy these car manuals when I find them. You guys have seen me buy and sell a lot of the Haynes manuals. Chilton's is another manual to look out for while you're outsourcing. Especially scoop this up for $1 at the book bundler buyout because it was the Camaro and it was like an older style of Camaro. This sold for my full asking price of $24.87, and again, I paid $1 for this. I will pick up these car manuals whenever I find them. Hardy Boy book, another bins find. I paid 50 cents for this at the bins. It sold for $9.87 free shipping. Again, I've talked about I will only pick up the blue top text block ones, the older ones from like the 50s, 60s, and 70s, or like the antique ones from like the 30s. Those are the ones I normally pick up unless I find a bunch of them. Like if I find the flashlight series, I have to find a big lot of the flashlight series and they have to be in really good shape for me to pick them up. If you get like 10 of them that are all sequential in the flashlight series, which is the most modern hardcover printing of them, that can still be valuable. This is a vintage Cole Haan belt. It is a size 40. I also bought this at the bins. It was in a bin. Put it up for sale and whatnot, didn't sell and whatnot. Sold literally the next week after I listed it, or 2 weeks after I listed it. So, vintage Cole Haan sold for $11.90. I paid, less than 50 cents for this belt at the bins. So I love this. And it had been sitting in my death pile for forever. The Gap, this is a brand new belt from the Gap. I actually paid $4 for this at Goodwill. The only reason I paid $4 for this at Goodwill is because of the fact that it was brand new and I knew I would be able to sell it, especially since the original retail price was like $38. So I did it like half that and it sold for my full asking price of $19.87. So well worth it to me. And you can see it's super easy listing, just in a ball. Here's what the buckle looks like. Here's the information. They weren't even cute pictures, honestly. And it sold, so And the last thing I'm going to share with you is this Quicksilver Waterman piece. This is another piece I picked up at the bins. I've talked about how I will pick up surf brands like cute Roxy pieces or good Quicksilver basics or interesting pieces like from Volcom or skate brands and that kind of stuff, because that stuff can sell. And if you get it for really cheap, why not? Sold for $13.50, and I probably paid $1 for this at the bins. But that is everything. Hopefully you guys are down for hanging out with me every Wednesday while I share with my sales with you guys. That's what my plan is going forward. If it gets to the point somewhere along this year, which I hope it will, to where one of these videos is too long, I might do it twice a week. We'll see what happens. But for now, every Wednesday, you guys will at least get one video from me consistently, and it will be a what sold video. And then you'll get other videos, and you'll get other Moxie. But hopefully I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, bye.